Staples, so it looks like I have a book. 1. I love you like my mother's country. It was in my seaside days that I began to wonder why people even drowned when they could simply not enter the water and stay on the shore, where they could just breathe like their mothers had taught them to, with their feet pursed together in the soil. Exactly 1 day later, it rained something fierce and would not let up. I feared it would never stop, not even for harvest or in time for winter. And all I could think about was the sound that the water makes when it colonizes your lungs and teaches you a new mnemonic way to breathe. Can I tell you a secret? We sit around and talk like teenage girls. You haven't given that up yet? You're still holding on to that? Are you waiting for the right man to come along then? Giving up your stability is really no big deal if you think about it, but she talks for hours about how she'll be ready and it'll all be on her terms. Poor girl, she doesn't know. And that is arrogance, really. They do not walk up to your front door with sweets that their mother sent to say thanks for being kind neighbors. They've only just moved in. They do not come to your school and ask you to teach them the ropes or fall in love with you during the summer and sit with you under the jacaranda tree eating mangoes that were warmed by the sun or picking leaves out of your hair before the portrait. They come with hatchets and jewelry that they have not yet filled with your gemstones. They come with diseases you didn't even know you had to fight and markers to draw up borders that now you need to learn how to cross. They come in boats that are empty, that they have not yet filled with your brother. They come as rain that never lets up, not even for harvest or in time for winter. It is not enough to stay on the shore with your feet pursed together in the soil of your mother's country. Sometimes the rain comes to you. 2. 1 bad day. I fell in love with the sun and it with me. I was kissed by the sun. I fell into the sun and it let me. The world set me on fire. The world was set on fire and then scrambled. My world caught fire when for it was scrambled. God knew what bad men were coming to do, so they made me to blend in and hide in the void. Bad men came and pushed me into the void and I began to blend in. This world is perverse. They say light and mean illumination to birth visibility. They also say light and mean pale. They say dark and mean deep shades of color, but they also say dark and mean the void. It was in this way that the deep child learned that if she could be pale, she could be visible and no longer be touched by the void, but it is easy, the misinterpretation of a prayer from a dark child to be enlightened. This and a barrage of other considerations when they stare, so I ask, you want to know how I got this dark? 3. Alchemy, a mixing of metaphors. Everything's always been temporary, and everyone's always been borrowed, twice or 3 times removed. We use the same bandages over and over again on the same scars that we buried. The same scars buried us over and over again. We were buried wearing the same bandages. And now when I think about it, the bandages are what scarred us. Please help me. I tied mine a little too tight after my first shattering of bones. I joke about having done this to myself because I confused maybe with a promise. Asphyxiation. We are too scared to take in oxygen after we learned the hard way that it feeds the fires. I opened my lungs once, and at that very minute I learned the hard way that the real monster is not the beast, but the siren who will lure you into the deep and tell you that I just wish you'd open up to me and breathe more. Now I am drowning. Then I confused a match with a winter blanket, and now I am on fire. Now I am drowning in fire, and a sea of flames makes me feel stupid, and men who look like oxygen tanks make me anxious and hold my breath. When my hurricanes first began, he bathed in my floodwater, and misunderstanding was thrown out. But something's changed. He flooded my bathwater until I was thrown out. So I am nervous around mermen who smell like rose petals and hot water and scented sub-Saharan oils. Because I do not know how to breathe without drowning in oxygen or rain or fire. I do not know how it is to swim without being thrown out with the bathwater or causing the flood. I cannot trust men who say I am a breath of fresh air because I fed the fire and drank too much water through my scars once. Like when it rains, but then it dries, but the cracks are still wet to remind you that it rained. Like the water liked it better there. Like the rain pretended to build a home and liked it better there forever. Like the rain liked it better there and decided to take a little bit more. I fed the fire and drank too much water through my cracks once. Now the water is drinking too much of me and my lungs are on fire. I should have made my bandages a little more secure.